What's up, Red Raiders? Let's talk about pressure. You want the opposing team to feel the pressure before they even step onto the field. You want their heart rates to spike while they're still standing in the tunnel. And that is the design philosophy behind the new south end zone at Jones AT&T Stadium. This is not just a renovation of a football stadium. It is a calculated psychological weapon designed to break the will of your opponents. Imagine if you are a visiting player from a team like UCF or Arizona State. You're standing in the tunnel waiting for the signal to run out. In most stadiums, this is a quiet moment of focus. But here you are walking through the Champions Club. You are not surrounded by concrete walls and security guards. You're surrounded by glass. And on the other side of that glass are thousands of Texas Tech fans. They are inches from your face. You can see the veins in their necks as they scream. You can feel the vibration of their pounding fists against the glass. It is a fishbowl of pure, unfiltered aggression. The LED lights are pulsing red and black, disorienting your vision. The bass from the new sound system is shaking the concrete floor beneath your cleats. It feels less like a football game and more like a gladiatorial entrance. Then you finally get the signal to run out onto the field. You jog out of the tunnel expecting to see the open West Texas sky. You look up hoping for a breath of fresh air, but instead of the sky, you see a wall. 4 levels of luxury suites tower over you, completely closing off the south end zone. The noise doesn't escape into the sky anymore. It's trapped inside the bowl, bouncing off the glass and the brick, amplifying into a deafening roar. A veteran opposing coach might turn to a freshman player and scream to be heard. He tells him that this isn't the old Big 12 anymore. He admits that this is one of the loudest places on earth. It's the realization that Jones AT&T Stadium isn't just a windy dust bowl. It's a modern stadium designed to create an epic atmosphere. But atmospheric pressure alone does not win championships. Intimidation is useless if you don't have the hardware to back it up. Therefore, we have to look at what this new stadium actually represents in the hierarchy of college football. This leads us to the reality of the power vacuum in the conference. When Texas and Oklahoma announced that they were leaving for the SEC, a massive question mark appeared over the Big 12. Everyone in the national media began asking who would take the throne. They needed a new flagship program to carry the banner of the conference. The pundits spent months speculating and arguing on television. They tried to crown Utah because of their consistency in the Pac-12. They looked at TCU because of their one magical playoff run. They even discussed Oklahoma State as a legacy contender. But while the national media were busy talking, Texas Tech and BYU were both busy building. They were pouring concrete and signing checks while others were just hoping for the best. The narrative that Tech is a dark horse is outdated. The 2025 season proved that the hierarchy has shifted permanently. The Big 12 championship trophy is not just a piece of metal sitting in an office. It is a signal to the rest of the country that the guard has changed. Texas Tech is no longer fighting for a seat at the table. They are now the ones at the head of it. They have some of the best facilities in the entire conference. They have an administration that is completely aligned with the football program. They have the wildest and most loyal fan base in the region. And although my BYU friends may beg to differ, at least right now, the new Big 12 runs through Lubbock, Texas. But claiming to be the flagship is easy when you have a microphone. Proving it requires resources that most schools simply do not have. We really need to look and examine the financial commitment that separates the contenders from the pretenders in this conference. It brings us to the new $250 million advantage that Tech has over its rivals. We're talking about the Womble Football Center at the south end zone and the project that's going on there. To call this a renovation is an insult to what was actually accomplished. This was a total revolution of football infrastructure. For years, people compared Tech's facilities to schools like Baylor or Kansas State. That comparison is no longer valid. Tech now possesses facilities that rival blue bloods like Alabama and Georgia. The Womble Football Center is a state-of-the-art command center for football excellence. But beautiful buildings do not tackle running backs or throw touchdown passes. So you might ask why a building matters for the 2026 season. The answer lies in the science of player development. The college football season is a war of attrition. By November, every team is banged up, they're tired, and they're hurting. The team that stays the healthiest is usually the one that lifts the trophy. While other teams in the Big 12 are recovering in cold tubs that are 10 years old, Tech players have something different. They're utilizing NFL-grade recovery technology every single day. They have access to sleep pods, cryotherapy chambers, and advanced nutrition centers. This investment means that Tech starters are fresher in the fourth quarter than their opponents. When the other team is grasping for air, cramping up, Tech's athletes are operating at peak efficiency. The building itself has become a competitive advantage on the scoreboard. This also fundamentally changes the game in recruiting. Lubbock used to be considered a tough sell for high school stars from big cities. Recruiting battles were difficult when you were selling potential rather than reality. But now the coaching staff doesn't have to sell anything. They simply walk a recruit through the front doors of the Womble. They show them the locker room and the player lounge, and the facility sells itself. The recruit realizes that he will be treated like a professional before he even gets drafted. But assembling a roster of talented, healthy players is only one part of the equation. You still have to play the games. And even the best roster can fail if they don't have the stage to prove their dominance. So we need to look at the 2026 schedule to understand the opportunity in front of the Red Raiders. The home slate for the upcoming season is not just a list of games. It's a series of national commercials for the brand. There are heavy hitters coming to town. Games that will be broadcast in prime time on national networks. But there's one specific matchup that stands out above the rest. We have to talk about the Colorado game. This is not just a football game, it's a cultural collision. It represents the clash between flash and substance. The Colorado program is built on hype, celebrity, social media influence. They bring cameras, celebrities, and a circus atmosphere wherever they go. The entire country will tune in to see the primetime show. They will come to watch the spectacle in the sidelines, and I can't wait to see what unfolds in that game. But winning one big game does not make you a flagship program. Consistency is the hardest thing to achieve in modern college football. So we must look at the structural stability that keeps the machine running. That brings us to the contrast between Texas Tech and the rest of the conference. Look around at the other schools in the Big 12 right now. It's a landscape of chaos. Coaches are leaving for NFL coordinator jobs or bigger paychecks elsewhere. Rosters are churning over with dozens of players entering the portal. Fan bases are anxious because they don't know who their quarterback will be next year. They don't know if their head coach is committed to the university. Now look at the reality in Lubbock. Joey McGuire is not looking for a stepping stone to another job. He's not flirting with other programs to get a raise. He is home. He's built a culture that fits the identity of the university perfectly. The 2026 season is not about proving that Texas Tech belongs, because they've already proven that. The 2026 season is about Texas Tech enforcing their will upon the rest of the league. The flagship is not just sailing into the future. There are many people who think it will be conquering everything in its path. And to this I say, welcome to the new era of Red Raiders football.